Okay, everyone. So, welcome again to another one of our sessions. And for today, I was just reading the documentation and I found out that GDScript actually uses or is considered to be a dynamically typed language. So, in this session, I just want to work on noting. So, let me just go create a folder here. And I'm just going to say this lesson, lessons folder. And I'm just going to move that there and inside of that, and I'm just going to create a new script. I'm just going to say var gd script variables. Okay. And I just want to explore how do we consider, let me delete all of those. So some things that we want to discuss for today will be gd script being a dynamically typed language. Okay. And so when I say dynamically typed language, that's something new for me. So I'm reading through the documentation and I found out that GDScript is actually a dynamically typed language. So the advantages of this, the language is easy to get started with. It will also be, or it can be written and changed quickly. It can also be, we can use less code, or let's say, uh, if we write less code, less errors to, or less errors and mistakes to fix it. And we can say that it is less cluttered and easy to use and easy to read. And that's my goal here. I'm hoping that we can all learn how to read code base of Godot. So it is less cluttered and easier to read. Okay. And no compilation to that is required to test. So, and we also can say that runtime is tiny and it has duck typing and polymorph. I think we have to explore this a little bit more. It has polymorphism by nature, so perhaps we can have that. And again, let's just practice what we have so far covered. Control K will be providing us a multi-line set of comments, right? So these are the of a dynamically advantages advantages. Okay, and some of the disadvantages on the part of the JavaScript would be disadvantages. If I can type correctly. One of the concern will be less performance than statically typed languages. My letter A is really not working correctly. Languages. It's more difficult to refactor. That means there might be an issue with symbols that can't be traced. So I think this is one of the common things. So we have to consider how are we going to be refactoring code that we have already written. And some errors will typically be detected at compile time. And we're currently seeing that right now, detected at compile time. While in statically typed languages, this it only appears while running the code, right? Running the code, and that is because of expressions. Expression parsing is more strict. So of course, we want to learn what is an expression in the language, JavaScript language. We want to learn what is a statement, what is the variable declaration, variable initialization. So later on, we'll be talking more about that. And of course, less. One of the other disadvantage will be less flexibility. Flexibility for code compilation. So meaning some variable types are only known at runtime. Uh, Letter E is really not working correctly. I think this is because of during the convention I had the mechanical keyboard used. So I think it resulted to letter A not working correctly. So these are some of those things that we should be aware of in terms of the disadvantages of the GD script. And we can now move forward to understanding what are the variables. In any programming languages, we have to identify what are variables, right? What are the variables and assigning values and assignment convention in using GDScript. So in any programming languages, we normally have a keyword plus the custom identifier or what we call the variable name that will be coming from, and as we've discussed last time, we do have custom versus built-in keywords that we will be using. So we will want to know if we're going to be reading a code base, what are the custom keywords here? What are the built-in keywords that we should be familiarized with? That's why I'm going to start with that. And we have variables, and variables is like a bucket from where we can go. And just by the way, I'm looking at this with the perspective of a total beginner. So that means if you don't have any background in programming, I'm looking at it in that way, the way I am trying to go and express myself with how I'm learning this new language. That's why I'm going to be explaining some of these details. So when we say variables, these are like buckets. And buckets, let me just open up so when you say variables, this is a bucket of information, and let's say we have letter A here, and we want to store that information here so that we can use it in multiple instances or places in our code. Right? So this now has letter A, so we can use it multiple times in different locations in our code. Okay, so letter A, because we are storing the value of the character A into a variable. Okay, so that's just the idea of what variables are. And it's important that we understand what is the assignment that is currently happening. So all variables in a dynamically typed language are variant like. Okay, so take note that all variables in a dynamically typed language are variant variant like. Okay. So this means that their type is not going to be fixed and is only modified through assignment. So this means that their type is only modified through assignment. Okay. So this means that their type is only modified through assignment and they are not fixed. And they are not fixed. So when we say static languages, let's have an example of, or let's say we have a static example. Let's look at some examples here. Let's say we have an int a. So we can see here, we are not assigning any value to it. So this means this is a value declared. We declared a variable, but not initialize it, but not initialize it. So we declared a variable, but did not, but did not, sorry, I got used to using this, but did not initialize it. So if we have this declaration of A and we give it a value of 5, we can see here that we now have, hmm, and I think we should just go have this here. So at least we won't see those red colors. Here we are assigning, this is not an equal sign. Normally, if you don't have any programming language background, the equal sign or character is not going to be you. 1 plus 1 is equals to 5. Okay, this is what we call the assignment operator. We'll talk more about the different operators in perhaps succeeding lessons. But for now, just have that in mind. This is not us doing a normal mathematical computation from where 1 plus 1 is equals to 5. This is what we call an assignment operator. That is meaning, so in a static language, this is valid, and this is us storing the value of 5 to the identifier or variable named A. Okay, so that means we can now go and utilize that letter A as the identifier that we can use in our code instead of using number 5. And this is a data type, integer. Okay, so in a static language, also one thing to take note of, we declare that this is an integer, right? With the keyword int, and we have an initialized value of A. So if we use a string literal like hi here, that means in a static language, in a static language, this is invalid because specifically here we have that keyword int, or it means integer. Now, what if it's a dynamic language? Dynamic. Things to take note of when it comes to dynamic language. Let's say, for example, we have a var a. And in here, this is us. By the way, if we did not assign it with a value, this is what we call initializing. We initialize a variable in a static language. Variable. And in here, we declared and assigned the value. Or here we declared, sorry. I think we declared the variable. Declared a variable. So that's different from initializing it with a value. Okay. In here, we initialize a variable by assigning it a value of 5. So we're initializing it. Declaring a variable is different from initializing it. We are storing a value. So when it comes to, let's say we have var a here, variable a, and this will just be us declaring the variable name a. Okay, and again, this is a custom. This one is a keyword, and this is a custom. Anything that we want to say, I'm broad. Okay, so that will still work. So a, let's delete this. Variable a, and this will automatically be resulting to a null value by default. Okay, sorry, my and when we say A is assigned the value of 5, this is going to be valid in a dynamic language like GDScript. So now A becomes an integer. So if you have a little bit of background with if you have a little bit of background with JavaScript, I'm not sure why that's still saying or what unexpected identifier in class body. Okay, so let's just comment this out. So A assigned the value of 5 is going to be still valid. It becomes an integer. Okay. So when we say A is assigned the value of a string, let's say hi, and we say that again, this is a valid again, valid. That means we now have A changed to a string data type. So we'll talk more about data types as we go along with our discussions here, but just have that in mind. So in a static value, if it's a static language int, we can see we are not, this is not going to be valid. If we declare that this is an integer a, that means that's going to have a number assigned to it. But if you assign a string or characters of text, that will be invalid in a static language. But with a dynamic language, that will still be working. So one other thing that I just want to talk about with regards to how we can try to use variables, for example, here, will be how, and another thing. So I hope that that's clear with regards to dynamic and static differences. And one thing that I just found out also today is how, this is a question that I have in mind. How can I perform debug dot log or console dot log in the GDScript language? And again, as I mentioned, I'm basing this from my former knowledge with PHP, with JavaScript, and C Sharp. And in Unity, we normally use debug log for doing some testing and console log for JavaScript. So I found out that we can actually utilize, and instead of doing it here, or I think we can just say here, we can use the print built-in method. So sometimes you might find if you go a little bit of searching on the internet, we can have what we call built-in methods. Basically, they are functions. We'll talk more about this in the long run, but I just wanted to cover this already while we're here. So that means if we say print A and I think we have to have that. Will that work? That didn't seem to work. In a class body. Well, I think it's better to try this out in the class that we are working on. So let's go to player GD. And we know that this is a class, but we won't be talking about that too much for now. I just want to cover variables here and how you can go and try to store some basic way to debug log because and console.log because that's very important for testing if the code that you've written here is working. So for now, I just want to test out move to left. And in here, if I read through this, we have a variable, custom variable. We're doing an if statement. Don't worry, we'll cover if and else if statements perhaps in another exploration. And in here, if I say print and move to right, okay, so let's try to see what that will be doing. And let's start to explore. So now, and based on some testing that I have done so far, this will be coming out from the output. So if I move to the right, and I think I have to, okay, so there, I actually hit that. That's why. that's happening. I'm still trying to figure out how to clear the output here, but decide to do that some other time. And let's go back here. I'm just going to move to the left first. You will see that those texts are now showing up. So we're moving to the right and we're moving to the left. So I think that's one way for us to see if the code is running correctly or working. So I know this has been a bit of a long video, and thank you. I hope you learned something in this session, and see you on the next session.